Good morning and welcome, everybody. This is the Unlock Protocol workshop around our new Events by Unlock experiment and app. I am Chris Carthy. I head up marketing here at Unlock. I am the disembodied voice that you're hearing through your speakers, here with Julien Genestoux, who is our CEO and founder. And this is going to be a live workshop. So not a lot of slides or anything like that, actually going through, showing what the tool looks like, actually going through building out an event. If you happen to have yourself an event coming up, if you know date, time, place, those types of things, if you have a piece of artwork that's digital art, be able to do that and can actually walk through as Julien is going through things. And then we'll certainly open this up. We've got the questions open in the chat right now if anybody has any questions that we're going, and we'll open it up for live questions later as well. So thanks everybody for joining us today, and Julien, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Chris. So first of all, thank you very much for coming. I'm really excited to show you today our new product, Events by Unlock. We shipped this about 2 days ago now. This is obviously a first version, and there's going to be more progress and improvement as we go over time. But today, I really want to show you how you can easily get started and deploy, set up an event in a matter of minutes. Using Unlock. I should clarify, Unlock is a protocol, and it's the core protocol that powers many types of application, including the one that I'm going to demo today. Another thing to note, obviously, this is on-chain. So event organizers in that scenario need to have a wallet. Once they deploy the smart contract, and we'll get to that in a minute, this is fully their contract. The Unlock team or nobody else in the world has any control over this. And then when people are going to buy these tickets or claim these tickets, they're actually going to be NFT, non-fungible tokens, like any other NFT that you can see on the web. This is all built inside of the Ethereum ecosystem. But again, we'll get back to this in a minute. So I'm going to start by sharing my screen. And then hopefully you will see my screen as you go now. You see that I have a ton of stuff on my desktop. Please ignore what's on the left. It is just a lot of stuff that I'm working on a daily basis. And I'm going to move that around here. Cool. All right. So if you want to learn more about this, you can go to either events.unlock-protocol.com or app.unlock-protocol.com/event. We will soon have a link on our homepage as well for people to set things up. This is, at this point, just the static landing page. This is really the place where users can explore to learn more about the product without actually getting into more detail. So you see that we have a couple selling points here. Feel free to look at these, as well as a few frequently asked questions. Again, let us know if you have more questions about this, because we can improve and add more content here. But let's go ahead from now and go create the event. You'll see first that I'm actually already connected to my wallet. You, as I said earlier, as the event organizer, need to have your own wallet. And here I'm previously connected to that. But you can use anything like MetaMask, and that's actually what I'm using here, or any hardware wallet, or Rainbow, or any kind of mobile wallet that you can think of. So I'm going to go ahead and click this create button, and you'll see that immediately I'm sent on a form where I can complete some information. We'll get back to this. There is actually 3 sections. The first section is the basic information about the event. The second one is about the location, date, and time of the event. And the third one is price and capacity. So let's get started with basic information. So you have to give a name to your event. And I'm going to use, the launch party. So that's, the name. You're going to provide a description here to give a little bit more hint about this. I should clarify, this is public information, so don't put any kind of obvious secret here. But again, you can provide a description. So during this, we will celebrate our launch, as well as show more people how this all works. You can use, this is powered by NFT using the Unlock protocol. And what's really interesting here is that you can already see that you can use Markdown. Markdown is a way to kind of format text. There's a link here that explains how to do that. A bit technical, but also not too complicated. And if you use any kind of blogging platform recently, you probably have seen Markdown in the past. So here I'm just creating a link, for example, on Narc protocol, and I'm going to make NFT in bold by using this little trick here. Additionally, I can enter an image URL here, and Chris prepared one for me earlier, so I'm just going to go here and find the one that Chris prepared for me. It's in here. Great. Put in browser. I actually had it open earlier, but I'm just going to use that and then go back to the form, and I'm pasting the URL of that illustration. We will soon have a way to upload the files directly here, but that's not the case right now. The next step is to choose a network. So I mentioned this is built on blockchain. We support 8 different networks. You're more than welcome to pick any of the one that you want to deploy on. You should know, and you probably already know that depending on the network, there's different costs involved. Here for this demo, I'm going to use the Gurley testnet, but you can use something like Polygon if you want to have cheap gas, and that's actually one of the recommended options that I would point to. You know what? Let's actually use Polygon today. If I use Polygon, my wallet is going to prompt me to switch, and I'm going to switch to Polygon. And one of the benefits of using Polygon is like Unlock Labs, our team would actually support by subsidizing the gas for people who don't have any token in their wallet, but we'll come back to this in a minute. Next step, set a bunch of metadata about the event itself. So here we're going to choose a date, and let's say it's going to be tomorrow at 8 p.m. Entering this, and I could have used this little helper here as well. It's happening in New York, but you can choose any time zone that you want to go around. And let's say we're doing this at Empire DAO, which is this place that we used to work from. It's closed now, but I'll use that for the example here. I can put a full address, and that's being used here. Finally, I can set a price and capacity. So here I want to make this a free event, something that anybody can come to without having to, pay for tickets. But as it uses Unlock, you could actually use, any kind of ERC20 currency on the chain. So here I'm using again Matic on the Polygon chain, but you can use DAI or USDC or even your governance token if you have a specific governance token. And again, free, but I could set any price here. As well as, and we don't show this in that UI, enable credit card if I wanted people to pay with credit card. We have this in the dashboard once you do go into a more advanced mode, but we'll go to that after this. I'm going to set a capacity for my event. Let's say it's 100 people, and I think that's a good default here. And so the next step really consists in just publishing my contract. So I'm going to go ahead here. And you see that from my wallet, I'm actually sending a transaction to deploy this contract. It's costing me a little bit of money here, about 42 cents, because it's deploying the contract. And that's if you want a heavy transaction that is being sent to the blockchain, I just got a bit cheaper here. And it really is a function of the blockchain usage. So now we're waiting for the transaction to be mined, which, as you know, if you use blockchain, should take anywhere between a couple seconds and a couple minutes. It's important that we stay on this page because we're going to have to do some extra steps after this. I can also go explore the status using the block explorer here, waiting for the Polygon chain to mine this transaction. It shouldn't take too much time. Hopefully, will happen shortly here. That also depends on the blockchain that you choose. So some blockchains have shorter what's called block time than others. If you use, for example, any of the rollups like Optimism or Arbitrum, it would be almost instant. On chains like Polygon or Gnosis or Binance or mainnet, Ethereum mainnet, it would take sometimes a bit longer, like it does right now. The transaction has been included in a block, so we should now have it. And as you can see, going back to this page, the contract has been successfully deployed. So the next step, as we see, is to go view the event page, and you see that immediately it is configured in the way that I've set. And that's the page that I can start sharing with my friends. Let's go to that. First, the title of the party, obviously the contract, and it's important because it's the one that I deployed. It's really mine. The Unlock Labs team or anybody else in the world has zero permissions, zero control of that contract. It is critical that that it is open from that perspective. We have all of the metadata that I've entered, the location, here, as well as the time, the date and time, and the small description that I put. As you can see, there's a link on Unlock Protocol here. Among other things, an easy button to add to calendar, depending on what kind of calendar I'm using. Let's say I'm going to use Google Calendar here, and you'll see that it just comes pre-filled with the launch party and the details of the party, as well as the event here. We also have an ability to share this on Twitter to tell other people that they should come. You see here that immediately we're sharing the link for people to come attend on their own the party. This link is important because that's the one that you would share with your guests or the people that you expect to come to your party. So the next step, really, I'm going to show you how to register as an attendee. You see this last section here. Obviously, that's only visible to me as I'm the organizer here. Other people, if they're not connected with the wallet of an organizer, which would be the case for anyone at this point, would not see that section. We'll come back to this a bit later as well, but that's the way you can update all of the information on that page. So clicking on register here prompts the checkout UI from the Unlock application, and you see that I have the option to purchase one of these membership. I'm just going to go ahead and click next. One of the cool features, as you know, is the ability to customize the recipient of the NFT of the ticket here, and I can even use our most recently launched feature, which is airdrop by email. So I can put someone else's email address here. I'm not going to do that right away. But that would have been an option. If I click on no wallet address, or I should clarify this. If I click on no wallet address, I can put their email address in and they'll get a ticket. But here I will know I'm just going to buy for myself. So I'm just going to use my ENS here, as well as put my email address to get an email confirmation, and we'll go through that in a minute. The next step after this is going to be to pick a checkout option. Since we only have enabled crypto here, the only option is indeed crypto. So I'm paying with my crypto wallet. And there's going to be a final confirmation screen at this point. If I'm an advanced user, I could actually go verify that the contract matches what I'm expected to pay. And you see that I'm going to buy one membership for 0 Matic because it's a free lock. Obviously, in that example, I have to pay for gas. So there's a little bit of, a little bit of spend here. Oh, and it looks like gas prices are really high right now on Matic. It should be much lower than this. It should be about a cent. But let's go confirm this. And there again, I can go see that happening on the Block Explorer. Oh, indeed, yes, gas prices is very high on Polygon right now. Refreshing that page, you see that the transaction has been included. And so now I can go back here and I can easily close that. And we're done on this page. The next step that I wanted to show you is the email confirmation that I'm going to get. Hopefully, it takes a couple seconds to a minute or two, depending on how quickly the transaction gets mined. So maybe in the meantime, what we can do is go to the edit details of the page. So as the organizer, and only as the organizer, I can edit details here. So you can see that there's the name. So I could rename this the launch party, the celebration. Sorry, I can change the attachment. Again, we'll have a way to upload a file shortly. I can update the description as well. I can even point to an external URL, which we don't currently have in the UI, but that's the kind of thing I can change. I can change any information about my events, obviously. So you see the information that I've entered previously is here. And as well, update other metadata elements about the NFTs if I wanted to. This is very advanced. There's no need to do that. I'm just going to save this. And you see that if I go back to the event page, the title has changed and now says the launch party celebration, because indeed we updated that information. So looking at this, it's all pretty straightforward in my opinion. I want to show you the email that I should have received now. No, still not received. So actually, one more thing that we can show you here, which I think is very cool. I can go look at the list of attendees, obviously, and you see here that I have one ticket right now, the one that I just bought for myself, obviously. And it says 1, obviously the balance is 0 because this was a free ticket. And you see my information here, my address, the address of the holder, as well as the receipt. And I can mark the ticket as checked in. We'll come back to this in a minute. If I wanted, I could also update the email address for that specific attendee, or resend them the QR code if I had received the email. I'm actually surprised that it's not received yet. I suspect some delay happening around the email sending, but I can resend. Let's actually verify this. And hopefully this is, oh, yep. And I don't know if this is the one that I just sent or the other one. I'm sure we'll get the other one in a minute. And you see that, so I have a little confirmation screen that explains, the ticket that I received. I can go see it as a viewer on the keychain. We're not going to do that right away. I can see it on OpenSea, which I think is a pretty cool factor. And obviously it's using the metadata that I've configured. You see that it's owned by me, and it shows the illustration that I put for the event. We even have, properties here. So the date, the time, the address, the time zone, which are all useful metadata about that, and as well as the description that we have set on this one. The other thing that I wanted to show you, going back here, is obviously if these were paid tickets, I can, as an organizer, have access to all of the receipts. They're not configured right now. I've not configured, but I'm going to just go do that in a second. And obviously, I could also refund, again, if it was a paid ticket, the ticket for that specific attendee. Finally, if I'm an advanced user, I can export the list of attendees. Again, just one right now, it's not that useful, but I can export this as CSV and import into other kinds of application. Now I can go update the terms, and it's actually pretty easy. I can update the name of the smart contract if I wanted to. I can change the symbol of the NFTs to not be key, but ticket maybe is a fun one, so I can do that. I can update the base token URI, pretty advanced setup. I can enable or not transfers. So if I don't want my attendees to transfer their ticket to someone else, I can do that from here. I can change the quantity. So let's say I picked 100 and then eventually we're actually going to be in a bigger location. I want to enable 200. I can do that right away. I can, so by default, the number of tickets per address is 1, but I can extend that to be, 4, 5, or even unlimited. I can decide whether I want to allow people to cancel their tickets, and if so, maybe apply a penalty, which I think is a useful thing to do sometimes. I mentioned credit card payments earlier. I could do that enabled here. We only accept credit card payment for actual payments, so the price needs to be at least 50 cents. It's not the case here. And I can also set roles. So managers of the smart contract, that's me. I'm the first one by default, but I can assign these permission to somebody else. So I'm going to here assign that to Chris, and Chris will be a manager alongside with me on that specific contract. What's cool about that is, like, obviously that now Chris will be able to do, organize, update the metadata, and do anything on the event like I just did. Finally, a very important section is the verifier section. So you'll see, actually, you have seen, oh, and I received my second email. So I guess there was a little delay here. You see that I have no 2 emails. But anyway, in the email, there's a little ticket, a stub. And you see that on that one, there is a big QR code. That QR code is really kind of the thing that proves that the NFT is valid or not, or the ticket is valid or not. And that can be scanned by anyone. So I don't know if you have a phone with you right now, but you could actually scan this right away to verify that it's valid. And maybe I'll be able to do that as well, so I can show you the rest of the experience here. But I'm doing this as as an attendee. I can do that, and you'll be able to do that. Yep, and this ticket is valid. It's loading right now for me, but it's going to show me that the ticket is valid. I'm going to try to see, I don't know if you can see on my screen when I'm sharing, but you'll see from here that it's a valid ticket, and you have the information. You see the illustration is correct. You have some information about it. And I have a button to scan another ticket, and I can obviously scan the same one again or a different one. So if I'm at the gate at the venue, I can start scanning people's tickets like this pretty efficiently. What's really interesting about this is, and I'm not doing this on my phone here right now, but if I'm logging in as an organizer or as a verifier, going back to that UI here, I will be able to mark the ticket as redeemed, which means that if somebody else shows up with the same QR code, that second person would not be able to, be seen as having a valid ticket. So it's really a way to kind of ensure that tickets are not only valid, but also only used once. So you can add any verifier here using that mechanism. I think we're reaching the end of this demo here. I'm going to stop sharing my screen and want to maybe jump to a question if anybody has any. I know Chris is managing the room, so let me know, Chris, if we have anyone asking questions.
Yeah, and if anybody does have any questions, feel free to put them in the chat and bring them up. While we're waiting to see if anybody in the audience has questions, I have one. So one of the things that you showed, Julien, was the ability to refund. Is that something people could use for, we see a lot of free events that you have to stake something, and then if you actually show up to the event, then you get that back. So I'd love to hear about that. And then we do have a question from the audience as well that we'll bring up right after this.
Okay, let's start with your question. So the short answer is absolutely. So basically, there's been this movement in the crypto ecosystem to organize events where people have to purchase, but practically speaking, would get a refund if they showed up. That's a way to kind of ensure that anybody who showed interest is actually coming and not sweating the space or getting all of the invites. It is absolutely possible. So when you say you charge $10 per ticket, people will have to pay that money when they purchase the ticket. But then after the event, the organizers could easily use that feature of refunding to refund every single attendee that did actually show up and not refunds the one that would not have shown up. So absolutely. I should also clarify one thing, and I know people in the audience might not be developers, but this is all highly, highly programmable. The reason we use blockchain under the hood is exactly for that purpose. It's because we think by using these smart contracts, people can build all kinds of application on top of them that would make some things like the way you described, Chris, automated. So you could make something where, creating another verifier app with scanning the QR code, the organizers would be able to issue the refund right away at the door when the person gets in. So that's a way that is really easy to build and would not be possible without a Web3 solution like this one.
Excellent, thank you. One of the questions from the room is which payment provider can we use for credit card payments?
So by default, we provide Stripe, and that's using Stripe Connect. So we don't actually receive any of your funds, and I should have clarified from the beginning. This is your smart contract. The funds go directly from the attendees to your contract. And similarly, when you use Stripe, the funds go directly from your customers' credit cards or Apple Pay or Google Pay to your Stripe account. Unlock Labs, Unlock Inc., and the protocol doesn't take any fee and doesn't have actually a mechanism to take fees at this point. So you get all of that. However, as I said earlier, it's all highly, highly programmable. Somebody could integrate the protocol into their own application with other kind of providers if they wanted to. That would require some development work, but out of the box, Stripe is the solution that we provide.
Excellent, thank you. And then one more question that came in. How long does ticket validation on chain take approximately?
2 seconds, a second. I mean, we actually did some tests for ECC, a big event that was using Unlock. And all in all, from scanning from scanning one ticket to the next person after marking things as done, I think it was less than 15 seconds. So really kind of person pulling their phone, you scanning the ticket, person moving into the next one, next person pulling phones, less than 15 seconds between two. It is really instant. So like what happens is like basically the QR code is a signed message, and we just verify that the signature matches the owner of the NFT. So really it's kind of instant, but requires a network connection. I should clarify this. Obviously requires a network connection because the device, the telephone in that example, it needs to be able to access the chain to verify that indeed the ticket is valid.
Excellent, thank you. Yeah, and as just to follow up on that a little bit, at ECC, we had about 1,800 folks who came through, who were registered and came into the venue, and we were able to get those folks through in about an hour. It was longer for folks to get their swag bag at the next table than it was to actually validate and check their tickets. This actually, there are actually a couple other questions here that are related to that. The first is, can people resell their tickets? And then related is, what does Unlock do to prevent scalpers? But before going that, I actually have a red question from the audience here as well. Can I use multiple phones in parallel?
Absolutely.
to do that verification.
And absolutely, you can use as many phones. They are practically disconnected, right? They're all just verifying on chain that the ticket is valid. We do have a service that actually marks the ticket as redeemed, but you can do this in parallel. And we actually haven't done this. I mean, I think at ACC we were 8 people, if I'm correct. We had 8 different scanners.
We had 8 folks checking in parallel at ECC.
But I'm sure this could go to 100 without any issue, because they're all reading from the chain on which this is deployed. And in that example, that was Polygon. In the example, actually at ECC as well. And it's pretty again pretty easy to actually do that to that flow.
Awesome, thank you. And then the other outstanding question was, can people resell tickets, and what does Unlock do about scalpers?
Yes. So short answer is people can resell ticket if you, as an organizer, allow them to do that. I think I showed you in the settings, you can actually disable transfers, and so that would basically, practically speaking, disable any kind of person trying to resell their tickets. No way to actually go on OpenSea and sell a ticket or buy a ticket from someone else in that scenario. That doesn't obviously prevent people from selling private keys in that example. So if I have my wallet and I share my wallet details with you, Chris, well, you'll be able to go to the concert instead of me. And maybe maybe you paid me in cash for that kind of purpose. There is no way to actually go as far as this. But when it comes to scalpers, there is 2 steps. So first of all, you want to avoid reselling, because I think that would be a limitation that you can do that. You could also, and again, going back to the highly programmable, build a special system through which resold tickets can be, tickets can be resold that you control. So basically, you could create kind of a dedicated marketplace on which these can be resold and only at a fixed price. So that would actually make reduce the amount of stalkers, but at the scalpers, sorry, what at the same time ensuring that if somebody cannot come, they are either getting their money back or having a way to kind of transfer that to someone else without making a profit, which I think is useful. The other mechanism that you would want to use is, as part of checkout, want to avoid bots. We do actually have a mechanism to avoid bots on the front end. If you want to really be serious about this, and that's actually something we've done with ECC, you would want to enable one of the hooks to require users to actually sign a CAPTCHA. And so that means that nobody can go on-chain and mint all of the tickets at once in 2 minutes. And so that's another mechanism that you can do to reduce the risk of having scalpers.
Excellent, thank you. Couple more questions. So one, what about discounts? Can you do discounts for tickets?
Yes, so it is absolutely possible to set up discount codes on tickets. It wasn't part of my demo today, but this is something that is highly documented in the Unlock guides. So you can set up discounts for friends and families. You can set up discounts for people that have been to another event prior to that one. Again, going back to that highly programmable, you have to realize that these smart contracts are really Lego blocks and can be updated and combined in ways to create all kinds of experiences. You can make it so that these people don't have to pay full price if they have been to the 5 previous concerts or the 5 previous events organized with as NFTs as well. It's really, really highly flexible, and I want to insist on that aspect. Like, we've built what we call an MVP, really kind of a very basic version of what we're describing. There is everything in the smart contract to build the most advanced ticketing platform that you can think of, something that could be used to do Olympics or World Cup kind of events with tens, hundreds of thousands of tickets, all on chain, obviously, all auditable and transparent, but at the same time highly programmable.
Wonderful, thank you. Those are all the questions that have come in. So everybody who attended, thank you so much for your time. Julien, thank you for taking your time today. If anybody does have any questions, please feel free to come by our website, unlock-protocol.com, or jump into our Discord, discord.unlock-protocol.com, and we will see you in the metaverse.
Absolutely. It was a pleasure to present you our ticketing solution. Please follow us on Twitter, join our Discord if you've got any question. We're here to help people get set up. And obviously, please stay in touch because we'll improve this experience a lot in the next few weeks. Absolutely.
Thanks,
Bye,
everybody.
everyone.
Take care.